And welcome back to another edition of Jacked Up Gardening. Caitlin Sterner is here with me today, as usual, and as promised, this week we're talking tomatoes.
That's right, Mason. Last time we focused on herbs. This time we're focusing on tomatoes. The only thing left to talk about after today will probably be mozzarella.
Ooh, I'm getting hungry. Too bad you can't grow mozzarella in your garden. Anyway, we're here to help you focus on growing the best tomatoes in your garden. So let's start with an analogy. Humans need to eat to survive, and when we think of our nutrients, we think of carbs, proteins, and fats. Whether you like to admit it or not, our bodies need those three things to survive, despite all these diets and crazy things out there. So those are our three sources of nutrition, and all of those nutrients do different things for us. For plants, those big three, if you will, are really the N, which is nitrogen, P, phosphorus, and K, which is potassium. And those, are the big three nutrients that plants need. It's very important. However, humans, as you recall, you, I, anybody watching this video, need to make sure that they're taking in enough vitamins and minerals, or else they'll get deficiencies. So you do need nutrients outside of carbs, proteins, and fats. This is true in plants as well, and especially in those fruiting crops like tomatoes. Though the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium are important, these crops also need micronutrients.
Nice analogy, Mason. That's exactly the sort of thinking we used when we set out to create a fertilizer for fruiting vegetables in our Jack's Classic Tomato Feed 12-15-30. We wanted to not only hit on the optimum amounts of the NPK, but we also wanted to make sure we included a jacked up micronutrient package to ensure that pesky deficiencies for calcium and iron were also taken care of.
Exactly, Caitlin. And while some deficiencies, in these sort of crops can occur because of moisture content in the soil, or maybe things are out of a pH range, uh, we think of this formula as a gardener's best bet to make sure that their tomato plant's food pantry is stocked. So if they do need some of those micronutrients, they won't be in short supply at least.
Okay, pantry. That analogy wasn't as good as the first one, but I think people get the picture. So, as for applying tomato feed, remember that it's 1 tablespoon per gallon of water every 7 to 10 days. And remember that Jack's Classic Tomato Feed is great for any summer fruiting vegetable. So, tomato, pepper, cucumber, eggplant, squash, zucchini. Think of a hot vegetable growing in the summer sunlight, and tomato feed's going to be the fertilizer for that.
Well, Caitlin, that about covers it. And, I think you're right. I probably should work on my analogies for next time. But happy planting, everyone. And be sure that as you're growing your vegetables this summer, tag your photos with hashtag gardening with Jax. And, we'll be sure to give you some love on those photos as well. We always like seeing the results. And until next time, keep your gardening jacked up, and we'll be back here shortly.